So normally after I finish uploading and you unlocking the icons, which I did on Thursday, unlocking Coolio, which was a day earlier than what I predicted and what I shared with you guys, I normally share one of three chapters. So I record chapter 1, I save it, chapter 2, I save it, chapter 3, I save it, and then I put it all together with the edits and I upload it. So I normally share one of three chapters touching on a specific topic. And this time around, yes, I am going back to a specific chapter touching on a specific topic, but this time around, I'm not just going to play you guys the recording. I'm actually going to be behind the mic and elaborate from my heart to yours, because this topic is one of the services, one of the recent services that we brought to the Kino as a consulting agency, which is so critically important for you as an artist or a label, no matter which level of the game you're actually in. Like you could have, say, 2 tracks out there. There's no momentum on the tracks yet, but keep in mind these tracks are going to be online for the remainder of your life and a good couple thousand years after that. So how do you secure that? How do you allocate that ownership of those compositions, of those masters, to the correct people who are going to continue to build your legacy? So that's what I'm going to touch on. I touched on it on unlocking Coolio, and I'm going to touch on it on the podcast. And if you guys want to get this sorted out for yourself, for your career, all you have to do is hit up the Kino Isaac Consulting Agency. So first up, as always, I'm going to share with you guys the top 5 trends that's been happening in the music industry, music economy over the last week. And if you do follow the Posh Magosh brand, if you follow me on social media, we have recently relaunched Posh Magosh Media, but with a different mandate. Now, initially when Posh Magosh Media was first launched back in 2019 into 2020, parts of 2021, and then it faded away. I recall actually having a legal case in 2021 with regards to Posh Magosh Media. It was infringement because there's another company that's also called PMG Media. And at the time, it was called PMG Media, not Posh Magosh Media. And they had the rights to the abbreviation PMG. That was a 1-year legal case that we had, and we settled the matter, not going to court, and it actually benefited both parties. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. So we have recently now relaunched Posh Magosh Media, but as a news outlet, bringing all you guys the latest music/entertainment news that's happening all around the world from reliable sources, including music business worldwide. I started off with Music Business Worldwide last year. It's a credible source and it's super awesome. It's proud to have them or have the articles integrated with Posh Magosh Media, because the news that we are providing at Posh Magosh Media, we want to be dopeness and credible news. So you can find, of course, in the description, I'm going to still share Music Business Worldwide's link, but you can also check out for the Posh Magosh Media link to keep updated on the latest trends. And on Posh Magosh Media, on the official site, articles are updated hourly, 24/7. You get in the latest news in real time. So first up is Universal Music UK restructures, merging Island and EMA labels while launching new audience and media division. Number 2, which is quite awesome, songwriter groups hail landmark victory as US Corporate Office issues rule confirming how termination rights apply to streaming royalties. Now, to sum this up for you guys, songwriters will be entitled to still collect mechanical royalties generated from streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, Amazon after the termination rights, meaning when they actually pull their music away from publishers such as Posh Magosh Records and they fully control it themselves, they will still be entitled to earn royalties. Goes on to say that in the US, songwriters have the right to terminate the exclusive or non-exclusive grant of transfer or license after 35 years for works written after 1978 or 56 years for works written granted prior to 1978. The ruling, which was published on July 9th, confirms that the so-called the right of works exception does not apply to the blanket license under Section 115 of the Copyright Act. So depending where you're listening from, and most of you will be in South Africa, it's good to check up on how this actually applies to your life with the copyright laws within South Africa. I mainly focus on the US market because it sort of just like filters down. So yeah. Number 3 is Lenzo Yoon, one of the key execs behind the rise of BTS, is leaving Hype. Not really getting to that. Number 4, Believe buys 25% stake in Global Records, which claims to be the biggest indie music company in Central and Eastern Europe. Number 5 is something I mentioned over the last 2 weeks with regards to the Hypnosis Songs Fund. Blackstone is the new owner of Hypnosis Songs Fund, as Giant Bid wins shareholder approval. So that is the top 5 highlights over the last week. Number 2, takes the cake here with this victory for songwriters when it comes to claiming their royalties after termination rights. So within chapter 3 of Unlocking Coolio, I concluded the recording the episode by stating that when Coolio passed away, he did not have a will, and his estate is still under probate, which is a legal process of settling his assets and debts. So as an artist and you don't have a will, especially the level that Coolio was at, it goes to the state and it will go under probate, and we have to follow the legal process. So we did have several adult children at the time of death. So the rights, or these music rights, could go to a music management company via the heirs, which ideally would be his children, and they can manage his music, or the heirs can manage the music themselves, coming to mutual agreements. Now, I am not going to touch on Coolio and the mess with his estate, but I'm going to explain to you guys why, even as an artist, and as I said, whichever level you may be at, whether you have 1 track out there, 2 tracks out there, 10 tracks out there, whether you're gaining 10 streams a month or you're gaining 10,000 streams a month, it is critically important that you have a will. So I'm going to go to the points that I mentioned on Unlocking Coolio on why a will matters. Point 1 is ownership and control. This allows artists to determine who inherits their music rights, recordings, and intellectual property. Without a will, the state decides which might not align with the artist's wishes or the legacy that you are building. Point 2 is future success. I mentioned that doesn't matter if you have 1 track and there's no momentum on that track as yet, but a song might not be a hit today, but it could explode in the years to come, in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So a will ensure that your legacy and income goes to the intended beneficiaries. Next point is protecting loved ones. A will helps ensure financial security for spouses, children, or other loved ones by specifying how the income from the music will be distributed. I mean, the last thing you need to do or have is that if, let's say, you have 2 children and you don't have a will in place, or you do have a will in place, but you don't mention your music, whatever it may be, because it was just like, okay, this is not working out, you got back to a day job, but your music is still online. 10 years down the line, the music actually blows up. The 2 children will end up disputing with each other on who gets what. So if you have a will in place at the time of death, this actually covers that matter. Next point is avoiding disputes, which I've touched on. Will minimize the risk of legal battles and family conflicts over ownership rights. Next point is peace of mind. Having a will provides peace of mind for you as an artist, knowing your wishes will be respected and your legacy will be secure. Remember, if you're rolling with me, if you're rolling with Kino Isaac, if you're rolling with the Kino Isaac Consulting Agency, we are all about long-term and we are all about building legacy. like the Japanese, for example. Any successful Japanese company took 200 years to build. That's how they think. They are thinking 200 years ahead. That is legacy. So I want you guys to take this into consideration when it comes to actually putting your will together. The types of assets should address not just the music rights, but also instruments, merchandise, and other creative assets. If you got a home studio, you got equipment, that should also be included within your will. If you're involved in partnership agreements, endorsement deals, all that should be included within the will. Whatever rights you have at the moment, wherever you're generating income from, should be included in your will. Updating the will. Careers as an independent artist can change rapidly. So I encourage you as artists to update your wills periodically, especially after major life events like marriage, children, or significant music deals. Last point is consulting an attorney. While simple wills can be created online, consulting with an entertainment lawyer is recommended. Entertainment attorneys can ensure the will is legally sound and addresses the specific needs of a career. Now, in 2024, with consulting agencies such as the Kinoiser consulting agencies, we eliminate the high fees of an entertainment lawyer. So yes, at the Kinoiser consulting agency, I do have a legal advisor, I do have an attorney. He does address and see to all my musical, entertainment, legal concerns, and he has done a brilliant job over the last few years for me. So we eliminate the cost of, say it's not an entertainment attorney and it's just a basic attorney, a minimum of 1,500 just to go and see them, have a sit down, discuss what you want done. Then there'll be a fee on top of that to actually get that done. And in the event that you need to edit as well along the way, there's going to be another cost linked to that. So at the Kinoiser consulting agency, and it was a project that we actually tested a few weeks ago. We compiled our first will. It was brilliant. The client loved it. It's legit. The only thing you have to do is sign it off and get a commissioner of oaths to stamp it, get an attorney to sign it off, whatever. But just to get the will drafted is the service that we're actually offering right now. And we're starting off at a low price of 750 Rand. That's in South Africa. For international artists who do listen to the podcast, I will give you what that would be in dollars and give you an exact amount. Just want to. So 750. It's $41. It's just over $41. Current exchange is $41.77. That's how much it will charge for us to draft a will. There's no specific, or you're not going to be tied down on specific lengths. Or no, it needs to be 2 pages or 30 pages long. All that you want us to include in the will be there for that once-off fee. And to edit the will along the way, we're not going to charge you a lot. We haven't reached the stage yet when it comes to actually editing or just adding stuff or removing stuff, from the will, but it's going to be definitely cheaper than going direct to an entertainment lawyer. And in case of dispute, actually the word I was looking for was limited. That was the word I was looking for, limited. That fee is not going to limit you to a set amount of pages or what can be included within the will. So as I was saying, that in the event of a dispute, no matter what it may be, it doesn't have to be when it comes to a dispute with regards to your will or so on. You're more than welcome to make the Kinoiser consulting agency an executor of your will. We got no issue with that. But if there's a certain dispute that's happening right now within your career and you consult with us to actually address the matter, we will start the process. I mentioned a few weeks ago on the podcast that one of the clients that we actually had over the last few months was a client who was working with an independent record label without sorting out the legalities and administration before going in the studio. He dropped vocals on the track. The label released the track without his consent, and that was the dispute we were sorting out. Now, these cases are actually quick to sort out, especially if you are on the right side of this and you never put pen to paper on any agreement. But in the event that a case just gets out of hand and we can't resolve it out of court, we do then allocate our in-house attorney to address the matter, and that will come with its set fees. Moral of the story here is that instead of going straight direct to an attorney, paying a minimum for an average attorney of say $1,500 just to consult, and then of course all the fees that come after that, whether they need to draft any letters, draft the will, represent you in court, you could end up with fees, without even getting the result yet at say 10,000 Rand. So we're just trying to eliminate that. We come see us, that once a fee, we represent you, we get matters sorted out, which will be all inclusive, come see us, do the work, for less than it would be going to an attorney. And in the event that we can't resolve it and we need to bring in our in-house attorney, then we take the matter from there. But I've won so many cases over the last few years. I was on the right side of things. I had all the contractual agreements on my end. I secured myself. So the party I was actually against, or the parties I was actually against, had no ground to actually stand on, and I won it without even appearing in court. So proof is in the pudding. So if you want to get your will drafted for your artistic career or for your label, please hit us up at Kino Isaac Consulting Agency. So short podcast today, just over 16 minutes long. I'm not sure when will be the next time that I will actually be on a solo podcast. Starting next week, Saturday, is the new era of the Kino as a podcast. I'm going to have guests on the podcast, and we're starting off with American songwriter, music producer Zoe Tess. She's our first guest on the podcast, and I'm looking so forward to it. I'm so excited for this new area, and of course evolving into video podcasting. Once again, not something that's new, but it's fresh. I've just been moving in seasons, so I'm looking forward to that. The weekend after that, or the Friday after that, not mentioning names yet, but I've got doctor/psychiatrist/artist that will be on the podcast. And the week after that, I've got a metal/rock band also from the US. All three guests are from the US. They will also be appearing on the podcast the Saturday after. I do love doing solo podcasts because, there's specific topics I want to touch on that can really assist you guys within the music economy. So I'm just playing it by ear for now on how I'm actually going to fit that in. We'll see. Play it by ear. Let's just kick off this new era of the podcast next Saturday successfully. Rearrangements, upgrades done in the studio, new tools, technological tools will be implemented. It's a learning curve for me as well, but I got no doubt that I'm going to have super awesome conversations with all these amazing people that will be on the podcast, and it's going to be super dope, and it's going to be super insightful for all you wonderful people out there. So yeah, let's get this going. So I'll catch you soon, very soon. After the recording is done next Saturday, I'm not sure how long it'll actually take me to get the podcast out to market. I'm sure I can get the audio out straight away. Not too sure about the video. But yeah, playing it by ear. So I'll catch you soon. And the Kino Isaac Show, if you missed it last night, had a new guest DJ from Alabama, USA. 90s, 2000s hip-hop and R&B. If you didn't miss that show, you can catch a repeat of it 9 p.m. on Wednesday on FM Stop. Peace out.